In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve.
Day viewers around the world, good day to you. My name is Mark Godin Iweajuwan, and I can see Sir George Chukwu on the other end. Sir George, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mark Godwin, and good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our Friday news updates.
Yes, Friday.
World news for that matter.
World news for that matter, George. World news for that matter. You're welcome. So it's a beautiful Friday here, 27th September 2024. George, is the weather cold yet in Toronto? Is it still
It's not
warm?
It's not cold. It's in between. It's fall weather. So you can wear your light jackets, not big coats. But it's still very beautiful, yes.
Nice. Okay. We are here on our Friday update, like George said. What we do, like we also say, is to gather all informations, the ones that are mainly vital, and look into it, give our own perspective to it, and make it easy for you to understand. George, let's start with some breaking news. I don't know if you had that from Nigeria. The governor of a state, Cross River State, lost this morning. Yes, Akwa Ibom State, lost the wife. We're still trying to get that information very well, what happened, but we just had she lost her life last night, Thursday night. So she passed away in the hospital, surrounded by family members. And she looks pretty young, George. What do you think could have happened? Illness?
Who knows?
Something?
There is no telling. A lot of our people, sometimes they engage in cancerous situations or tumor, or maybe we don't know. We just hope, it's such an early death for such a beautiful woman. So our condolences to the family of the Akwa Ibom governor and to the state as a whole. They lost a lovely one.
Yes, George, indeed. They lost a lovely one. And when things like this happen, you want to, we begin to look into so many things. Like George just said, health issues, sickness, illness. But before we continue, let's bring Raji in, George. Raji from Cape Coast, Ghana. Are you there, Sir Raji?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All these Kenke outfits that you're wearing, Kente outfits, very bright and beautiful. I'm jealous. So look at my own, just a simple red and white. Your own is multicolored and multifaceted. Very beautiful African fashion. You represent us very well, Alain Karachi.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
So you're welcome,
good morning, viewers. Yeah, good morning, viewers from the world. Welcome to our Friday program. Always exciting, always informative. Yes.
That's right.
Nice. Okay, thank you. Also, viewers, that's the picture of the governor, the governor's wife, Akwa Ibom Governor Oman Eno loses the wife. Miss Patience Eno. That's the wife. As at last night, the early hour release came through that she died surrounding with her family around her following an illness. So George was saying, Raji,
yes.
George was saying sometime many of our people, Africans, go through illness and we keep it close sometimes, and that doesn't help too when things are kept, discreet. What do you think, Raji?
Is this a concept of village people and people doing one or the other? And also that most of us actually like to keep things private. Private, and until it is rather too late. But my condolence to the governor. May God give him the strength and the comfort that he needs at this time, and may God give the dearly departed peace from all the turmoils and the strives of Nigeria. Even though she may not have been feeling it so much, but still, may God grant her peace. Coming to illnesses, our health system is so convoluted, is so bad that most people don't have confidence in our health system, and therefore use our traditional methods to attend to their illnesses. I'm not saying that our traditional methods are bad, but then sometimes you need a proper diagnosis before you can start involving taking medications and things. And I want to believe that she didn't die from cancer of some sort, which is a topic that I'm very, very interested in, because worldwide the incidence of cancer has become too much, and most of it depends on the oils we eat and on our diet. And we need to take care. Yes, we need to be very careful about, especially the oils we need. All this canola oil, the sunflower oil, and the cottonseed oil, all those things. And rather use our indigenous oils, like palm kernel oil, coconut oil, palm oil, groundnut oil, which are indigenous to us and which are very, very healthy to us.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad that you brought this up. It's so beautiful. When you think about oil, doctors out of ignorance had condemned palm oil as one of the worst oil, that it clogs the heart and all that. Many years ago, a doctor in America did a very, very thorough study of palm oil and discovered that palm oil is one of the best cooking oils ever. Even to the point that after the investigation, the scientific investigation, many people in the US started eating oatmeal with palm oil. Because it literally unclogs your heart. The palm oil is a miracle. They call it the miracle oil of 2000. We investigated and found out, and they did a simulation, experimental simulation in the presence of everybody, where they used regular what do you call it again? The oil, the olive oil. The olive oil. They used virgin olive oil and used palm oil. And in actuality, in the simulation, palm oil was unclogging the hearts.
Okay.
They saw it live. So, and these are the things that we do not understand. What you're just saying is so important. If we concentrate in producing palm oil, palm kernel oil, coconut oil, I tell you, our health will be much better than ever. And this is something that we have actually used in the past, and it's so delicious. When you read the aroma it gives to the food that we eat is amazing, plus the health benefits. So in essence, really, we need to reconsider and take a track back and begin to use what our natural resources. Oyibo people are looking for these things, and they're even the ones that are enjoying it while we're eating our imported oil, like all these other oil that is Canola
All right,
oil and
all right.
the rest of them.
All right,
Yeah.
gentlemen. This is a good one. Viewers, you see that we're not just giving news updates, we're also giving health updates, health tips that will be of benefit to you. So yes, our condolence. The picture of the man you see there is a husband, the governor of that state, governor of Akwa Ibom State, and the wife is the woman that passed on this morning, Patience Eno. So our condolence again. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you for that update. Let's come to more burning issue. Gentlemen, yesterday, you all know that the 79th UNGA event is going on, United Nations General Assembly. And yesterday, we had the floor. Nigeria had the floor. Nigeria had the mic. Guess what we said in the mic? Please forgive all our debts. Help us not. Judge, you're laughing. That was what your brothers. That was what. We know Tinubu is not there. Shetima, the vice president, is representing him. Now, this is his words. He said, "We seek debt forgiveness for Nigeria and also for developing nations." And this was what we were saying. Meanwhile, gentlemen, I won't want to put out all the indices, but you know what I mean by meanwhile. Meanwhile, our delegates were probably staying in the best hotel right there in New York. And all these other Western countries that have come, they've come to say, forgive our debts, are probably staying in little, simple places. They can just manage for the 3-4 days and go back. But our delegates will be in, I can bet you, one thing I know is there were countless of, there are unnumbered fleets of jets from our vice president, the president's wife, Remi Tinubu, and some heavy power delegates. Now, we went with all these things and we're asking for forgiveness of debts. Let me start with Raji. Raji,
Yes.
go ahead.
You see, we are very, very funny and unserious people. You are talking about staying in the best hotels. Did you consider the number of people who came for that General Assembly who are not even involved at all and who came just to go shopping?
Okay.
You see,
okay.
We are asking for debt relief. We came to that meeting with private jets, with presidential jets. We just bought a $150 million presidential jet, which is what we came to New York with, to showcase to the people from whom we are seeking debt relief. And these people did not come in private, we did not come in presidential jets. They probably flew commercial and with probably special arrangement with the airlines that is bringing them, their national airline that is bringing them. We came with private presidential jets. We are not serious. In fact, I'm sure that if it were not out of politeness, the other delegates at the UNGA should have laughed us out of court, out of the assembly, scornfully look at us and say, "What kind of people are you? What's in your coconut head, in your cranium? For you to come, you see how you are dressed. They are dressed better than their benefactors, and you are coming to ask us for debt relief when we know what you are using with the money that you keep on borrowing." Please, I haven't had breakfast and I don't want my appetite to be spoiled by
Go and have breakfast. After this, you go have your breakfast. George, go ahead.
the abject stupidity of our presentation at the United Nations General Assembly, where serious matters are to be discussed. You're asking for debt relief.
It is very deplorable. But by the way, I will commend the oratory style of our vice president. He was very eloquent, and I am so proud that the president actually sent him, because the beauty of the vice president is that he can analytically and in a very eloquent way, portray Nigeria. I love it, and I'm not gonna I listened to him. You know, his oratory style was very, very clean and very profound and distinct. So, Vice President Shetima, thank you so very much for representing us in that. But back to the question in line, where we are so, I don't even understand. You know, you did a fantastic job in just making sure that we bring ourselves to that point where, you know, in this beggarly form, we are always begging. Why is it that we are always begging? And yet, there is no restructuring in the way that we spend the money. The resources that we have not been able to take advantage of. And you're still borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and begging forgiveness for the past the ones that you borrowed. You know, I mean, it's a laughable situation. And, you know, because when you think about it, it's insanity to think the same way, say the same thing, do the same thing, and expect a different result. And this is the reason why these other countries are looking at us in such a way that, you know, look at these beggars, and they approach us with such intent in mind, because we are beggars. That's all it is. Why can't we restructure our debt? One of the things we could do is, rather than begging for forgiveness, let's restructure the debt, ask for lower rates, and not only asking for lower rates, but yet we can actually lengthen the period of payment while we are asking for forgiveness of partial. But to come and say, oh, forgive us the whole loan that we took because of the pandemic. Many countries, Kenya, some other countries, they have come out of the pandemic, and Angola is looking good today. So what is it that we're talking about as the giant of Africa? You're begging for your debts to be forgiven. Remember what you just saying here, Olayinka Raji. Do you know that if we produce palm oil that Malawi or this other country that we give in the 70s, Malaysia, if we have been concentrating on that palm oil product, Malaysia today is the greatest palm oil producer in the whole world, and is the highest in their GDP. Now, we gave them, they took over, and we're still lagging behind. We still have the coconut oil. We still have the groundnut oil. You still have all these natural resources, organic, that we can actually produce and export out instead of depending on single crude oil and gas. These are the things that can diversify what we can do in order to increase our GDP and exportation of goods. But yet they're asking for this thing, and there is no discipline in our spending. That's what you're just saying, Olayinka Raji. This is another area where the international, they're looking at you. I'm loaning you money. You're just using the money ostentatiously on stupid things, not to increase your infrastructure, to build hospitals, to build roads, to give light to the nation. You will not do it, and you're looking for debt forgiveness. How can I forgive you your debt when you're not even, you know, utilizing what we give you, you know, in a very reasonable way? It's not for the benefit of the people, but it's for the benefit of the few. It is so sad. Let's develop, you know, some kind of a domestic capital market where Africa can trade with each other. You see, one of the major problems we're having in Africa today, let's listen to this. This is very important. The international world, the superpowers are discouraging us from trading with one another. Ghana is there, Ivory Coast is there. You know, all these African nations, if we can come together and ignore all this nonsense that is happening with the World Bank, begin to trade with one another, you will see incredible amount of, you know, progress within African nations. But we are not doing so. We remain a consumer nation. We are not producing anything. We are not exporting anything, and we are begging for debt forgiveness and borrowing more on top of it. It is sad. Honestly, it is very sad.
Sad indeed.
Mark,
yes,
Mark,
go ahead.
let me just put about Africans trading along each other. You know, I came to Lagos, I came to Accra, Ghana by road, and I was listening to the transporters who were complaining about the difficulties they have in transporting goods from, say, Ghana through Togo, through Benin to Nigeria. They have serious problems because at every country they have to pay duties, and very, very high duties on the products they are transiting within the country. The goods are not terminating at the country, but they are transiting, and yet they have to pay duties. to move from Ghana to Togo, from Togo to Benin. And then when they come to Nigeria, which is their own country, they get the worst treatment. The worst treatment. And then another one about the eloquence of our vice president. A poor man can be as eloquent as possible. But if what is the value of your eloquence if you are talking stupid?
Stupid. Thank you. Okay, yes. But in his words, gentlemen, listen to what he said. He made some. He highlighted some things. He said that the global debt on Africa is also giving the ability of other countries to continue to press Africa. He highlighted the fact that the trade barriers you just talked about and the protection policies that they've put in Africa was discouraging the hope of these developing nations from growing. So he made some emphasis. He said, while uncontrolled competition is still very much in Africa, is discouraging also people that would have come up with ideas and investments in Africa because there is an uncontrolled competition from the West. So in all of his saying, what he was putting indirectly is to make this United Nations people, the Western world, know that there's this kind of, when they borrow this money, give us this loan, they suppress us on top of it. That's just a summary of what he's trying.
A borrower cannot
suppress you, so you can't even pay. You're stuck in economic policies.
Anybody who borrows, we're told as children that if a borrower should not be proud. If you are a borrower, please be humble. And the lender who can talk to you anyhow because you came to borrow.
Yes,
came to borrow.
Thank you for highlighting.
When you go out borrowing, you are sure to go out sorrowing.
But the Bible says that the borrower is a servant to the lender, so you remain a servant. Yeah, a servant to the lender. So you don't have any reason to begin to dictate and where they're taking the path of begging. So which is really what they are servants to the lenders. But this is one of the reasons why when we were talking about China before and the modus operandi of Chinese people, how they will flood you with the type of money that you need and turn around and grab you by the so-called balls and squeeze you whenever they want to. So we gotta be very, very careful with this mentality, this beggarly mentality that Africa has. As OAU and the West African nations, we need to come together. You see, why they killed Gaddafi was simply because Gaddafi was a Pan-African that was trying to promote internal success among each other, among Africans. And that's one of the things that they did not like. And they had to eliminate that man. So what we're saying is, even the modern ones that are now there, they ought to begin to think, how can we collaborate together? How can we look in the same direction together? How can we look at each country and give a mandate that if you are transporting goods, such and such should not happen as long as the papers are all right. Because what is happening with all the difficulties in moving goods among African nations, it is actually bringing us all down. It's like I'm holding you down and I'm down myself. So we need to look up. Africa needs to wake up to the call that is the momentary call that is calling for us to be independent financially, to help one another and stop do you know how many the population of Africa as a whole? It's 1.something billion people. It's incredible. So we have the resources to help one another, but this is something that the international world, they don't want to see it happen, and we as just falling down to those traps that they're setting for us. It's not good. It's not good. Africa needs to work.
I don't think we need to blame the international whatever. If we are able to sit down and live within our means and not play catch up with the Western world, let us live within our means. If you have 10,000 naira to spend, let us live within our means. What infrastructure are we going to build that will pay back the loans that we are taking? Any infrastructure you are building with loans that cannot pay back the loans, is a waste of money. It will put you in debt. So let us live within our means.
We'll put you in debt. Let's live within our means. Strong words coming out here, viewers. Raji, George, thank you very much. So that was what happened yesterday. We had the mic, but what we did was to beg and ask for forgiveness of loan. Like you both said, meanwhile, the man asking for forgiveness of loan has come with a private jet. He's staying in one of the best hotels right there in New York. He's around with delegates, spending billions of dollars all through this whole 79th UN assembly. And he's saying, please forgive us our loan. So we hope to really do better than what we're doing. It's not about, like Raji said, it's not about rhetorics, good speech, talk well. It's about thinking and doing well. Chinese will not come and give you any speech. Chinese don't even say anything. We don't even hear them say anything. But they are thinking. They are not even talking. They just do some sign language, and production, a good economy is flowing. All right. Also, right there in before we go on a break, gentlemen, also right there in New York, yesterday, the United States First Lady Jill Biden gave a farewell visit to all the first ladies of the world at that event. She hosted the first ladies to a lunch. She described her interaction with the first lady as impactful, all of them. And right there with her was our own first lady, Remi Tinubu. Remi Tinubu was there. George, Remi was there, but the husband wasn't there. The first lady was there, but the husband wasn't there. What are we saying? And she has always been at every of these United Nations meetings. What's happening?
Well, nothing is happening, actually. We were complaining when our president Tinubu was traveling. We were complaining and said that he needs to stay back to handle the domestic issues that are facing us rather than flying from one country to another, signing a lot of MOUs. When we complained, he listened. Now, this is a very important visit that he's supposed to attend, but he decided to stay home because of what's happening in Maiduguri, because of all the local issues that are happening. So let's just let's give him a little room, because the man has done well by not traveling. We don't know the reason why he didn't travel, but he stated that I decided to stay back to deal with our local issues. So I commend him highly for that. Even if it's just a theatric or whatever that he's doing, it is a good one, because it makes him look good in the presence of the people. That literally that he hears the cry of his people, and he's listening to the woes and the problems that are happening, and he's decided to stay back in a very important issue that he should have attended. He's sending his wife is going, and his vice president is going. So if he's doing a good job that way, we commend him highly.
I'm very, very happy that he didn't go, because he couldn't have been eloquent in his as the vice president. He would have been mumbling, and for him to be able to speak for 20 minutes at a stretch, it will be a disaster. It is a good thing that he decided not to go. It is because he could not handle it.
He could not handle it.
Any speech more than 5 minutes will be a disaster for.
Will be a disaster. Right. Okay, we have this wonderful viewer that follows us up every time we come online. Exogen Wireless Limited, and he's making a very, very good point here. He says our appeals for loan forgiveness will be understandable if our government actually serve their people instead of themselves.
Of course.
Good. Exogen, guys, react to Exogen. Raji, what do you say on this?
Awesome, because you take loans to buy private jets, and then the people are forced to pay the loans. You can't be pleading for debt relief when you are not using the loans very well for the good of the country and the people. No, cannot.
George, what do you say on Exogen's comments?
Well, I think we have alluded to some of these things, in our speech and what we made when we talk about this type of ostentatious living and flamboyant exposition of our wealth and all those type of things. So we've alluded to, he's very, very correct. And if you borrow money and then you're transparent in the way you're spending the money that you borrowed, and the people around the world are seeing that actually you're using that money for the benefit of the people, to increase infrastructure, to make the lives of your citizens even better, they will be looking and saying, okay, yeah, maybe because of the pandemic things are happening, we might forgive you. But if all you're doing is rebuilding a house that is already there, the vice president's house, spending millions upon millions of dollars, and then buy private jet for him, private jet. We just heard that we had some private jets that we didn't even know, So, these are the type of living that doesn't even make any sense. A while ago, I was here in Canada. We received the vice president of Nigeria then with a lot of, a few delegates, a few governors. And let me tell you what happened. Each one of those governors brought so many people. When you see them walking, you think it's a small village. But let me tell you one thing that happened, and I have to mention this. P2B came by himself. He was the governor of Anambra then. As a matter of fact, everybody was all flamboyant and everything. I did not even know that this man was the one sitting by himself reading newspaper until I passed him and I recognized him. I said, sir, what are you doing? He's like, what? Where are the groups? He said, I came alone. I don't need all these people with me. So you see, what I'm trying to say to us is this. We know what we can do, and we know what looks good, not only on the paper, but for the people, but we are doing otherwise. And that's why we are still in that deplorable state that we are in. And we never come out of it until we wake up to see all the opportunities that are lying before us. And leave all these foreign people alone and dwell among each other and deal with them as a unit rather than individuals. And that's what they don't want us to come together as one. They don't.
Thank you, George. Let's go on a break. Let's go on a small break. Raji, thank you. Exogen, thank you for your comment. We'll be back.
Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Viewers, you are welcome back to our Friday Global Updates. George, Raji, thank you for being there. Yeah, more stories coming in. Let's come down to what's the major news. The major news is that the Middle East is on the brink of all-out war. Biden said this yesterday at the United Nations General Assembly. The way it's going, gentlemen, we don't know. The British government is trying to bring back its citizens stranded there in Lebanon. Israel says they've killed the Hezbollah air unit commander that was carrying airstrikes in Lebanon capital Beirut. 2 people also were killed in that strike. And earlier on, we also had Benjamin Netanyahu say the military will fight with full force. George, these words are all very scary. Does it look like war, Third World War brewing?
It's not Third World War brewing. It's just a local war brewing, and a war that is unnecessary. If you're asking, a war that could be stopped. I mean, when you look at this whole entire thing, You see Hezbollah being funded by Iran. And these are the things that they are doing, giving them ammunition. They're fighting Israel. I don't know what the world is expecting. A country, the smallest country, almost the smallest country in the whole world, even in their landmass and their population, everybody's fighting them from left, right, and center. And then Iran is swearing that they want to annihilate Israel. What do you want Israel to do? To fold their hands and depend on the diplomatic relationship around the world to save themselves? No, I think that Hezbollah has been fighting Israel even since the onset of this Palestinian situation, and Iran has been funding them. So these things are just happening, and I don't know where the solution lies, because in my own estimation, Israel ought to protect themselves. If somebody is swearing to annihilate you completely, to make sure that you don't exist, you have the fundamental constitutional human right to save yourself, protect yourself. Hezbollah has been fighting and putting all kinds of drones against Israel. I mean, coming from another side, what do you want Israel to do? I frankly believe that if you come after me in my family and I have the resources to protect myself, it's your life for my life. So that's what I see here. That's what it is. I know Raji will not agree with me, but that's my own opinion.
Let me say it in my own words. I'm good. Sir George mentioned that Israel is the smallest country in the Middle East, and all the people that are fighting it. I want to put it this way: that Israel is fighting all his neighbors. Israel is the one, the cantankerous Israel is one that is fighting all his neighbors, supported by the meddlesome American units. I have said it so many times that it seems to me that both the all parties in the Middle East conflict are afraid of peace. And I think if movement should be pushed towards peace rather than preventing war, I think there will be peace in the Middle East. Let there be peace in the Middle East. The war has been on for more than 70 years. And every year, more than 10,000 people perish. It's a lot of waste of time and money and resources and lives. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. And surprisingly, both the Jews and the Arabs are supposed to be progenitors, to be people of Abraham, descendants of Abraham. No matter how you warp the history, if you have you are both Semitics, why don't you find a peace with each other? And I think the key is in the hands of Israel and its supporters from
I respectfully disagree with you, because most of the time it is the nations around Israel that is actually looking for trouble with Israel. Israel don't go fighting them. It's only when they come against them, Israel,
what the Lebanese are saying is that people are trying to, they said they are acting in solidarity. That's their word, solidarity with the Palestinians. So this is Hezbollah, and Hezbollah, as you all know, resides in Lebanon. So Hezbollah is putting their mouth into something that is bigger than them, and they are putting other people in harm's way. So that's basically what it is, Raji. I don't know if you understand this. Hezbollah.
Why are you explaining that to me? I understand it. I understand it.
Because you said.
Hold on. Okay. I know what I said. Okay. I also understand the historical genesis of the whole issue. Okay. The genesis of the whole issue. So the point is clear. The point is clear. The point is clear that when the Jews came into Palestine, the Palestinians received them as brothers.
Yes.
For the Jews, especially the Jews from Poland and from Russia and from the Eastern European Jews, who are the major causes of it. If you look at Netanyahu, you can trace Netanyahu's lineage to somewhere in Poland or in the south. So you see, it is not the traditional Jews, the real Jews, that are in conflict with the Arabs. It is the Ashkenazi Jews from Poland, from Russia, from Romania, who came into Palestine with their violence, and that violence has been on since they came in. So we cannot look at the surface of it. I'm terribly sorry. Hold on, I'm terribly sorry for the situation that Lebanon finds itself. Lebanon was the most progressive country in the whole of the Middle East. Lebanon, the capital Beirut, was the Paris of the Middle East. The government was divided between the government was divided between the Christians and the Muslims until they allowed the Palestinians,
Hezbollah,
a lot of them, to come into Lebanon, and then disrupted the very foundation of Lebanon. I'm so sorry about Lebanon and what they have been forced to take. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's almost like, can I say something?
Okay,
It's like allowing Boko Haram to become a stronghold in Nigeria, and they are fighting Cameroon, from Nigeria. That's it, from that place. So you see, you have to understand when you allow such. No, it might not be that simplistic, but if the Palestinians are
that's it, George. George, you got it. That's a very good analogy.
It is much deeper. It is much deeper.
No, it could be much deeper, but when you allow a so-called terrorist group, or they call themselves, whatever they call themselves. Now, Palestinians are fighting with Israel simply because the people that were in the Palestine, they were the ones who came and killed a lot of people in is it January 6th, situation? Was it October 7th? So looking for trouble. Now, all of a sudden, now you've come into my own country, maimed my people, killed my people, kidnapped my people, and then I'm fighting to get them back. And then another group is coming to fight me for fighting to save the life of those that you have kidnapped. What do you want them to do? See, let me tell you something. One thing about one thing. Listen to this. Listen. One thing that I can say it publicly with all pride is, if you come against Israel, you better be ready for the scorpion's bite, because they will come after you and they will destroy you. I don't know why these nations around them have not waken up to the fact that Israel is like a burning bush. You can annihilate them. It is not possible. Stop fighting them. Live at peace with them. You come against them, they will come and annihilate you. They will destroy you. Look at what just happened with the, with the walkie-talkie and all that kind of stuff. They don't even know when he hit them. They don't know when he hit them. So leave them alone. You cannot fight against them and win. You cannot annihilate them. It is not possible. It is not possible. So leave them alone, because when you come against them, you touch the tiger by the tail, they're gonna bite you, and that's what's happening.
Added to that, George. When you really study Hezbollah as a terrorist group, whatever they maybe call themselves, they look ragtag to me, Raji. They are not structured well. They don't have anything. So now they just put the Lebanese in harm's way. That's all they've done, because there's nothing even. There's no shield, no defense, nothing. Just rag soldiers looking. So but this Israel, as I said yesterday, came out with well-defined structural plan to go and take them all out. They said they would not stop until they clean Beirut. They clean all the dirt.
remember what happened with Abraham. Abraham with 318 soldiers, burning his own house, was able to annihilate 4 terrorist kings in his days, 4 big kings. So you gotta be careful when you are coming up against the children of Abraham. Those Semitic Jews.
We're with you. Peace is what we want.
Peace is what we want.
Want the peace. Some people don't want this
That's
peace.
it.
Some people,
If you want to go after Israel, and they will crush you. They'll bring you to your knees. I'm sorry, but that's exactly what you're going to see.
Anyway, Biden, even the Prime Minister of UK, Starmer, they are all telling the United Nations, please, this thing will go out of control. Keir Starmer said it will go out of control. He said further escalation will help nobody. It will just bring up full-scale war, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So whoever is listening, Israel, it's time to also, it's okay. We've seen that you're angry. You can blow up the whole place. But I think they need to keep their shelf every arm and let's have peace. All right. So Raji, we're with you. The peace thing you said is where we stand.
It's not a matter of you are with me or I'm with you or not. I'm just telling you that your analysis is rather simplistic and not deep enough.
No, we don't want to go too deep.
Those who understand the crisis in the Middle East will tell you that, look, the foundation should be looked at because the foundation is not good. Let there be peace. Let America and the West European nations and their allies be careful about how much they continue to support Israeli intransigence against the Arabs in the Middle East.
Well, Israel is an underdog.
All right, gentlemen. Let's come to another story. The New York Mayor Eric Adams, George, has been indicted by the some federal charges of bribery, wired fraud. This happened actually a long time ago, 2014, when Adams served as Brooklyn borough president. But he's accused of accepting luxury items, international travels from business people from Turkey. George, do you have that story? The New York mayor is a very significant personality. So
yes, he is. He is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we're seeing is that they charged him a while ago, and they have been after him. This man said that he was a street guy, but was able to clean up himself, even to the point of becoming senator for 7 years. And after 7 years, he ran for the mayorship of New York, which is a very important, one of the most powerful mayoral jobs in the United States of America. So the guy is, so they've been after him because prior for him becoming, he was a police officer, he was in the force, but he was also advocating for the way that blacks were being treated in the force. He did not like that. So ever since then, they've been after him. If you ask me, I say, okay, let them do all this investigation. But this is looking like a witch hunt, really, because they've gone after him for many years. They've investigated these things for many years, and they're not coming out, and we don't even know what are the charges right now. Is it the racketeering charge, or is it the acceptance of bribe charge, or is it the one that the Turkish government gave campaign funds to them? There are so many areas they have sought ways of bringing this man down for some crazy reason that I don't know, and a lot of people have taken the hits on it because some people that were working with him, some of them already were investigated. One of them now turned against him. I forgot the name of that individual. But what we are seeing here is this guy is emerging as a powerful force to be reckoned with. And for some reason, it looks like, allegedly, it looks like some forces do not like him and then want him on his knees. So we don't know how this thing is going to pan out, but he denies categorically everything that has been said about it, about this, and hopefully he'll be able to get out of it. But the point is, when you go through some of these things, that definitely sometimes mud will remain on your body when you don't, by the time you clear your name. So, and that's, since he's became a mayor, they've been fighting him. It's almost like non-stop. He couldn't even do his job. So I don't know what is really going on there until the indictment is opened. Then let's find out exactly what is going on. And I'm just saying what it looks like.
But he was the first man also to step on PDD, the entertainment man. He was the first person to come in and say, PDD, return back the key of New York we gave you. You have some dirty stains around you. So it brings us to that thing the Bible says. You see the log in your brother's eye, but you don't see you see the scale in your brother's eye, but you don't see the log in your own eyes. If he had some past that wasn't too right, he should have also cleaned those past very well. That's what I'm saying indirectly. Raji, what do you say about...
One second, though. 1 second in what you're saying. If he did a past that was not good, he joined the force and became a force in the force to be reckoned with. And when he was in the force, he advocated for black police officers. The treatment of black police officers that was unfair around America. He advocated strongly for that. So, if you're talking about cleanness, he's already cleaned his past. But the point is that it looks like they are after him. Because they have been coming since 2014. Up until now, 7 years after? Come on, man. What is it that you cannot find?
Raji, do you believe they're after him? Do you think it's a racial thing?
There's no human being that doesn't have one stain or the other that he can hardly ever clean. There's nobody. In fact, greater responsibility lies on icons. Society requires its icons, but there's no icon without a clay foot, at least a clay toe. There's no icon. So we should be careful the way we destroy our icons. This man has become an icon. We should be careful the way we destroy our icons. Because when we shred icons in society, there'll be no standard again in society. Every time you bring accusations against somebody high up, you are shredding society. Because there's no way that you are going to bring an accusation against somebody that he can eventually clean himself very, very clean. Like Sir George said, there's no way that if you are smeared with mud, you can clean off the mud completely. So we should be careful the way we accuse the people who are in authority, who are high up in society, who are essentially icons of society. We should be careful the way we bring them down.
Icons of society, yes. The indictment alleges that Adams was involved in some donor thing, illegal contribution coming to his campaign, also traveling privileges, some goods also.
That they upgraded his flight upgrade his flight to business first class. I mean, come on. Mundane. What a charge like that? You know how many times I've been upgraded from regular class to first class just because and I wasn't even a superstar or anything. They just graciously gave it to me. And then this is a mayor. Such little crumbs of perks that is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's a witch hunt, if you ask me. If they have something on this man, they would have brought him down long time ago. But they're just fishing to keep him down. That's all it is. You could tell that it's a witch hunt because the man is a very full force to be reckoned with.
Somebody just wrote now from our Rumble station, says, is it just me that thinks this? I think the person is aligning with George, or is it their reaction that is thinking for me? I don't know. But I think that person is trying to say what George is saying is how it is. witch hunt. Okay. But let's also talk to ourselves, black people. Since we know we are all out, eyes are on us most times, it's also good we keep ourselves. I mean, the little way you can make yourself transparent enough. I mean, it's good. That office is one of the biggest offices in America. The mayor of New York is almost like a governor of 4 states together, so he should also be careful. All right, gentlemen, let's move on.
This is exactly what we've been advising. Like we said, if you because of your skin color, if you're a successful man, look at what happened to Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, all of the rest of them, and including P. Diddy now. Okay, so if you are a black man and you've happened to come to that stage in your life where you have been, to be successful in that stage, look at all of them. They will always find something on them to mess up their lineage and their heritage. That is one thing that they are looking for. So you gotta be 10 times careful than others. I like the way Michael Jordan is carrying himself. I like the way he's carrying himself.
Well, he's still alive, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
He's prone to anything
anytime. So we gotta be very, very careful, and that is something that, and I can tell you categorically, having grown up in that place, that every black man that have sense, they know they have to be extra careful and clean, because anything could be attached on you anytime.
Thank you very much. But also the process of becoming who you are. Remember, the whites did that. They aid that. They help you get to that level and also bring you down when they want to. Gentlemen, nearly 40 children in India drowned during a week on Monday during the Hindu festival. There is this festival that is done in India, and almost 40. In fact, as of this morning, they said the numbers could be higher than 40. Children, women, all drowned celebrating the Hindu religious festival. Eastern India, officials have said. Take note that we've been having cases like this most times in their gathering. Remember in July, about 121 people were killed when they were crushed in a gathering in India too, in Uttar Pradesh state. Also, 60 people were killed when a train rammed into a crowd sometime again in the Hindu festival period. So, gentlemen, I think India needs to check its protection unit or something. I mean, when you have crowd like this, there should be some check.
India happens to be the most densely populated land piece in the world. Their population has exceeded that of China. And in that landmass, in every gathering, you have hundreds of thousands of people, especially when it happens to be with taking the bath in the river Ganges. So it is not surprising, but our condolences to the people who lost their lives, and I'm sure the Indian authorities are doing all the best they can do to reduce casualties. Just like the during Hajj in Mecca. There's no way you are going to effectively do population control, people control in that gathering. But there are many people, hundreds of thousands of people in a small area. The moment there's a slight push, it turns to be yes. But I'm sure the authorities are aware of it, and they are doing something to prevent further future casualties.
Raji, you spoke well on this. George, do you think more preventive measures should be in place? I mean,
well, quite naturally, if they're having this type of catastrophic events, accidents happen all the time. I think they need to kind of either scale down or make sure that there is an adequate number of security systems put in place for such, in order to prevent lives being lost unnecessary on religious activities. It doesn't look good at all. Doesn't matter. Our condolences to the people that have lost their loved ones.
Thank you, gentlemen. Gentlemen, our time is gone, but we still have more things to say. Let's just crop it up with Trump saying that Zelenskyy didn't do well by not striking a deal to end the Ukraine war. Trump is now reasoning like Raji, and I am in that line too. George, really, Zelenskyy has not done his people too good. I mean, thousands have gone, and he had opportunity to say, okay, let me talk with Raji. Help us. Raji, say some of those words you need to say.
Is it just before the war is unnecessary? The war was unnecessary. The war was preventable. Zelenskyy was at the verge of signing an agreement with Putin, with Russia, to avoid the war until America's meddlesomeness came in, and Boris Johnson was sent in to scuttle that agreement. Otherwise, there will have been no war. But Zelenskyy, as a comedian, didn't understand the value of preventing war, because every war eventually comes to a negotiation table. So why don't you avoid the war and go straight to the negotiation table, which was what he was about to do until Boris Johnson came in?
Did you know the conditions of those the agreement that was signed? You know, because some agreement, listen to me. Yes, it might be better in your own view because of prevention, but there is an underlying reasons why this war is still on. Because when you think about the attitude of Putin and what he wants to amalgamate and take over some of these other countries, Poland is afraid. Other Putin countries
has no intention.
Finish. I didn't talk when you're talking. Can you please allow me to finish my thought, please? Don't interrupt.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm not interrupting you. I'm just asking.
You're interrupting because when two people are talking, nobody's talking. You know what I'm saying. Let me finish. Okay, let me finish. What I'm saying is this: if you bring an agreement that is unbalanced, and that agreement will make me to lose more, I'd rather fight for my right, because if I agree with you this time, next time you're going to want to encroach on me again and then force me to agree. No, I know this war is very, very unnecessary because of the lives that were lost in it, but there are fundamental things that are being fought against. And this is this superpower that want to come, sharks that want to come and swallow other countries because they want to make them, themselves look big. Look at what is happening in China today. China wants to amalgamate, Taiwan. They want to take over, and if you allow them, they will do it. They will do it. So sometimes war is better than that kind of, unbalanced peace.
There's no war. There's no war that's better than peace. There's no war that's better than peace, and therefore, you see, you are missing the historical background of the whole situation. Remember that USSR included Ukraine, and Ukraine was about the most important part of USSR because of the one port that Ukraine has. All the other ports surrounding Russia are cold ports. Ukraine is the only one that has a warm port, and therefore there was no reason why Russia, current Russia, will allow any other external force to have more influence in Ukraine than its own, because it infringes on its own security. The same way that the US will not allow any foreign power to be close to its shores. For more than 70 years now, Cuba has been under embargo because of its closeness to the former USSR.
I agree with you, and I condemn that. Because I did that, but I condemned it too. Remember, Olayinka, when I said originally that this is almost like a hypocritical type of move, because when Russia wanted to take over Cuba close to US fought with everything to make sure that didn't happen. And then in the same manner also, when US wants, Ukraine wanted to join United Nations, which will encroach on on Russia because of all kind of sanctions being given to them. They had to fight back too. So I was in agreement with that. But the condition that we're being given in that agreement was not aligning with what Ukraine wanted, because they were going to suppress them.
What was the agreement? What was this agreement?
It's online. It's online. So you can go and read it. It's online. The agreement is online. He did not sign. He did not give them that sovereignty that they wanted.
Is it better now? Is Ukraine better now?
They're fighting for their sovereignty. They're fighting for their sovereignty.
They are being encouraged to
lives.
Sir George, they are being encouraged to fight to the last man. Meanwhile, the guy who is encouraging them to fight to the last man is encouraged in Washington, enjoying his life.
Well, listen to me. It's just like Taiwan and China.
Look
at Taiwan was part of mainland China before.
Yes,
of course.
Okay. Yes. So as far as the Chinese are concerned, Taiwan is still part of China.
Well, if I don't want to be with you, let me go now.
It is not that you don't want to be with me.
It's not my fault now.
It's not my fault. Okay.
Let me go now. Let me become my own nation.
Nice.
Trade with you.
Good one. Gentlemen, let's round it up. We were given 10 minutes. We have just 3 more minutes in that 10 minutes. This sounds a little bit of to make you have some form of humor too. Here in our country, Italy, on Monday there was this event in America, and our Prime Minister Giorgio Meloni was there, and she was the one giving an award also. Now, what the crowd noticed, media people and many people, is that there's a kind of love air blowing between Elon Musk and our Prime Minister. And take note, our Prime Minister is not married. She's not married. She's actually single for now. So it's I mean, the picture you just saw there has generated close to 1 billion views, because everybody's curious what's happening between these two people. And Elon too is like a single man, even though he has baby mamas everywhere, and this woman is single. So who knows what could be happening? George, what do you think could be happening there?
Assumption is the lowest form of communication. Okay. Just because a picture captured a moment like this, it doesn't speak, it doesn't say anything. Giorgio Meloni, this woman is a very powerful woman, and let me tell you something. Simply because they capture, maybe this thing was a split of a second when she looked and was trying to look away, and they captured this one. So a lot of people, we always want to put meaning and the reason into things because they seem like, but if I don't think so. I don't think so. Believe me.
But apart from this moment, they've had other moments too. Last year they had outing together. Go ahead, Raji.
It will be quite interesting to see Elon Musk doing something with that with the Italian Prime Minister. Quite interesting, because that guy is a sweet talker. That guy is a sweet talker. He can talk his way into anybody's pants. That guy, Elon Musk.
I don't think so. Oh my God.
But did you see the video too? There's a video too. Did you see the video? The video of her commenting on the guy and saying that she appreciates that whenever let's see if the studio can get that video for us. So anyway, yes, George, things happen, little things like this, but the fun part of it is two big figures, so when you have something like this, everybody's eyes are there, everybody's curious what's happening here, what's happening there, and everybody wants to know. So let's see that video. I think the studio has that video for us. Okay, it's a video of the two of them taking the woman giving the man Elon an award, and what she said eventually.
Elon, for the beautiful words that he had for me. and for his precious genius for the era in which we live.
Yeah, so little things, but you know, curiosity, people are curious and everything, you know.
Just curious, just trying to attach anything to anything.
That man is a toaster. That man is a toaster. Be careful of yellow.
All right, guys. George Chukwu from Toronto, Canada. Thank you. We've done it again.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, Raji from Cape Coast, Ghana. We've done it again. Guys, we'll be back on Monday. Go have a beautiful week. And it's, I think it's the end of the month.
Yes.
Until we come again, have a great day, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye, viewers.
Awesome. Thank you.